What's up?
Hey, we're all here.
Where'd Paul go?
I don't know. We lost him somewhere in that 2 minutes. There we go.
Marvin and I were like a deer in headlights. We're just like,
Oh no, what are we gonna do? We lost our host.
I'm still hearing the music playing. It's weird.
Yeah, it was like almost it was extended for like an extra minute or something. So I don't know what happened.
Yeah, all right.
what a bunch of amateurs.
Well, hey, you give me the reins for the show, and I don't know what the hell I'm doing, I guess. Well, good evening. Welcome to another edition of the Northeast Ham Radio live stream. Hope you got your glasses ready. I got mine. Yeah, there it is, Mike. Yeah, but Marvin, you got some great food coming, don't you?
I do. I've got some great food coming in a few minutes.
Yeah, you said something about halibut and fresh shrimp.
Swordfish with fresh asparagus on the grill right now on the smoker. So yeah, I've got some friends up there helping take care of it upstairs. So it's like, okay, let's go. Let's get this over with. I got good food coming. So it's all good.
Nice. Well, Eric will be joining us shortly. I guess he's just held up a little bit in between events. But how are we doing, Mike?
I'm doing good. Happy Father's Day weekend to any of the dads tuning in. Looking forward to doing a little bit of golf with the kids and father-in-law tomorrow. But no, it's all good. I just finished editing video for Tuesday from the VHF contest that I did a POTA at last weekend. So I just wrapped that up minutes before the show, and looking forward to talking about field day.
Is there going to be some POTA bow tie in that video?
No, no, but you will see me for the first time on 33 and 23 centimeters. So if you want to see what it's like to do a POTA at 1.2 gigahertz, I'm your guy.
I don't know if I've heard about that being done before.
What's that?
I don't think I've heard that being done before.
Yeah, no, I'll keep it brief, but no, I love going out there in the VHF contests. I try to do a POTA and or a SOTA, and it's just a fun time to play on, the higher bands when you know that there's going to be more activity. Now, I'm fortunate to be in an area where there's a very active VHF group, and one of the guys reached out to me a day before. I could only make it out on Sunday last weekend, and he's like, "Hey, you want to? I got 2 HTs of Linkos that'll do 23 and 33 centimeters. You want to take them out?" And he had a Yagi for 33 centimeters. So I'm like, sure, let's give this a shot. And I picked them up like the day before, and I was still looking at the manual PDFs like when I'm at the park trying to figure out how to change some frequencies and stuff. But no, it was fun. I got 5 contacts on each of those bands, so I technically activated on 23 and 33 sems. So yeah, fun stuff.
That's awesome.
That really is.
How about you, Marvin? How's your week been?
Good. It's been a busy week. I'll just say I do work for the ARRL. We've got Teachers Institute, and we've got teachers in last week. Teachers coming in this next week, and so we'll be doing a lot of teaching of them of all kinds of new stuff using projection finding and SDRs, the Zoom spots, all kinds of things like that. So it's been really busy learning some of the processes and things that we do with them. Preparing for field day myself, trying to get things up and ready, and kind of getting my checklist put together, make sure I have everything in place and taking everything I want to take and getting ready for that. And then the following weekend, I'm going to Wisconsin to my property there to do a few more things and see if I can get a little bit of a radio network up while I'm there that weekend. We'll see how that, cross your fingers on that one. We'll see if that goes or not. And then probably sometime this next week or two, I'll be putting my money down for the Flex 8400. So before they come out in August, I think sometime. So we can set that up as a remote station on the Wisconsin area. So I've got lots of things going on right now. So
nice. Are you doing field day in Wisconsin? Or are you?
No, I'll do field day here in Western Massachusetts with the Hamden County Radio Association. And then right after I get back from Wisconsin, I start K2H for 13 colonies. So be sure to look for us out there doing that. So yeah, I've got the next couple weeks of ham radio. Really, all my weekends are filled up and tied up right now. So in the middle of that, I put up a Gap Titan antenna, and I've got it almost close. I'm down to below 10 now for SWRs, but there's still something that's off a little bit about it. I'm not sure exactly what that consists of. So if anybody works with a Gap Titan that's listening or listens to the channel, hey, comment, and I'd love to hear about it, or reach out to me directly at w0met@thehamradioguy.com, because I'm struggling with this antenna. I've put more hours into this thing trying to figure out how to get these SWRs down. Reached out to the factory manufacturer. They told me a couple things. I've done a couple of those adjustments, but I'm still way high. Again, I'm somewhere from 6 to 10 on SWRs to 1. So it's crazy. Yeah, it's crazy. I don't know how to fix this exactly yet. I'm still struggling with it. It's like I've changed connectors, and there's a little connector at the very top that tied 2 wires together. It had like basically spade bits on it. I made sure that was pushed in all the way. I've got the counterpoises up. We've got all the connections are tight. Just struggling with it. So it's been every evening I've been trying to play with that as much as I can to get this thing up and running for 13 colonies. So yeah.
Well, hopefully you get it working. And if there is somebody out there that's got some advice for Marvin, give him a shout.
Yeah, let me know.
So similar to you guys, my week this week was mostly just doing a lot of field day prep and getting my gear together. Eric came by the other day and dropped off the club laptop so that I could get that ready. We use a N1MM system, so Eric's got this whole like network in a box thing. I don't understand how it works, but all the computers talk to each other, and so that's great. But these computers, I mean, I've been playing as a station captain now for this is my 4th year, I think. And I always say, well, I'm going to try a digital mode, just one, and I install it on the laptop, and then it doesn't work come field day. So I got Vera chat and JS8 call, and at home everything works. So we'll see. Hopefully, come field day. Yeah, and then I spent the day today working on my boat. My father-in-law gifted me his ocean boat that he kind of gave up, working on it. He just doesn't have the time or energy anymore. So yeah, I fixed a bunch of the wiring, and I put HF connection in, so that way I can take the extra 7300, and I could throw that in the boat.
Go maritime. There you go. That sounds
Nice.
great.
Well, I figure, with the conductivity of salt water, if I use the marine antenna as my mast, because it's, I don't know, 14, 15 feet long, maybe I could do like an inverted V, the length of the boat, and drop some counterpoises in the ocean.
Wow. Cool.
Yeah. I wouldn't think about putting them in the ocean, but yeah, certainly could. So
I mean, the salt water is going to corrode the wire, so I'll probably only get a couple of uses out of it, but a wire's cheap.
Right. No doubt.
Unfortunately,
So
where
field
I
day.
am in New York, all we have is fresh water.
Fresh water.
So and that's about as good as dirt. So it's nothing magical about that. But
Mike, what are you doing for field day? Hanging out with the local club, or?
So and again, I've only been a ham for a couple years, and the last few years I've always had conflicts on field day. So I've never given it much thought. There's always been like a graduation party, a wedding, or something going on that weekend. And so usually I've just stopped by when I can, just to say hi to some of the guys and stuff when I'm driving around. But I right now, fingers crossed. And I gotta say fingers crossed, because we my son's sports schedule, they've got some poor communication, so we find out about a lot of stuff last minute. So, um, I could get roped into something for soccer or whatever for one of the kids, but at the end of the day, I'm probably just gonna like stop by. I haven't gone out and done a lot for field day in the past because I've always been conflicted and stuff, but I. I haven't given it much thought, so I know it's right around the corner. If things remain open and clear for me, then maybe I'll stop by last minute and at least say hi to people, but maybe see about getting on, or we'll see. I really haven't given a whole lot of thought. It's kind of funny. It just hasn't
Yeah,
worked out
well,
for me.
this time next weekend, we'll be in the thick of it. So
Yeah.
you're of course welcome to come to New Hampshire if you
Mhm.
feel like it.
Yeah, it's odd that, and we have my club, the Rochester Amateur Radio Association. We've got one of the larger clubs in the U.S. We got over 500 members.
Wow.
But there's a lot of other clubs out here too, and there's a lot of crossover. And so there's a lot of members of our club that are also members of the club that does field day, which is the Xerox Amateur Radio Association. So I'm in Rochester, which was like the home of Xerox, and so there's a Xerox Amateur Radio Club, which has a lot of former employees, retirees, and stuff from Xerox, who many of which might be members of my club, but nonetheless, they're the ones that do field day, and they do a great job, and they have a huge operation. It's fantastic, but yeah, like I said, it might be a last minute thing. It hasn't worked out in the past, but it might work out this year where I can get out for maybe an hour or two and play radio. We'll see.
Well, I would
Field
say
day.
even if you can't join the club, right?
Mhm.
You could still play field day and just
Yep.
contribute in points.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. Definitely.
Yeah, field day is probably my number one event of the year besides 13 Colonies, which follows about 2 weeks later. I have participated in field day for many years as I can remember going back. And being the president of the club the last couple of years in Tennessee, of course, always headed up for make sure the barbecue's there and the cookout, and we had breakfast, and I had additional radios there, and I literally brought my truck like leveled in the box, and then the trailer would have like the grill and maybe a tower, a small tower, a mast on it, maybe a couple of the longer antennas of some sort, folding tables, whole 9 yards. It was like the biggest day of the year, like besides Christmas, probably, right? So, we'd have 2 or 3 stations set up and running. And so this year I'm not in charge of it. I'm more of a player for my local club here in Western Mass. And it'll be interesting to see how that all goes. But I'm going to bring my trailer down and try and operate out that in case it's raining or something like that. We'll throw a little fan in there. I've got, generator power be working. And, I'm going to set up I've got a Gator box with a 991 in it and FTM 400. I was looking at it over there. It's like with the lid on it, trying to think what it was all in there. So I'm going to try and operate with the computer. I'm going everything I can across the board Mac, but I also want to make sure that I can send. My major goal this year is to make sure I can take part in the KM4ACK challenge, which is sending a WinLink message, out and back via field day, and doing that in the field. And I want to do it with this setup and try and do it over my Mac if I can. If not, I've got a Linux machine. I'll do it through Pat. So we'll see how that goes. Hoping to just be maybe a general operator too, and just make lots of contacts and run it and kind of get myself prepared for K2H when you get thousands of people just nailing you at one time, and trying to keep some chaos and order to that. So I always have a blast with field day. It is absolutely one of my greatest days. Of course, I run winter field day too. I'm the president of that. And so I love, any day I can get out and do radio and POTA is always a field day. Like, it's kind of the POTA logo goes. But the actual 2 days of winter field day and summer field day are my absolute favorites to get out and see what I can do. And just, it forces me out the door. So my wife knows that is like, those are the days I'm not scheduling anything besides field day.
Yeah, my wife gets advance notice as well. I put it on the calendar, and I just block out the whole weekend for
Yep.
summer and winter field days. It's like,
Yep, absolutely.
if there's enough ice, I'm gonna be on the water, but if not, I'll be with the club.
Yeah.
And then in the summer, like it's just about having fun, and
Yeah.
I'll have to look into that WinLink challenge because I want to get in on that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
I'm curious about that.
So I haven't looked. He just put the video out this morning. I haven't seen
Okay.
what the details
That's
are
right.
this year. I think he said there was a little bit of a different element to it or caveat to it that I didn't look into yet. I guess I should have prior to this if I was going to mention it. But it'll be a good reason to go out and visit KM4ACK's video
Yes.
for those who haven't seen it and ramp up his algorithms as well. But he'll have a big blast. Number like, man, a lot of people are looking at this video all of a sudden because Marvin talked about it here. But no, he does a great job with those things, and it should be fun. So I know he in the years past was basically sending a message to him, and he set it up for like an automatic reply that you got a WinLink, connection to him, whatever. So and it's about doing your position report as well, doing like your GPS position. I think part of it is part of it.
Yep.
So I didn't catch all of
from the previous one.
Yeah, I want to say he's doing something a little different challenge to it this year, a little twist, but I don't remember what that was. So we'll see what that looked. Go watch the video, KM4ACK Field Day Challenge, and I'm sure you'll find out more about it there.
Yeah,
well,
I got a question.
You heard it here.
Yeah. So Paul, you mentioned Vara chat, and I'm curious. Does that work? Does that count for contacts for Field Day? Does Vara chat? Does that mode count? I'm not too familiar, obviously.
I don't think it. I mean, you can. No, I don't think Vera. I'm not sure if like Vera FM for WinLink.
No. Vara
No,
chat.
it's keyboard to keyboard.
Yeah, it's like a JS8 call.
Okay,
But
if it's a digital mode, I would say yes, it would work for Field Day.
Okay.
But I have not specifically used that. I guess I don't know. I can't get familiar with Vera Chat. I just use Vera FM for WinLink. That's it. So
look at that guy.
Finally.
That guy.
Sorry, my apologies. We had a 21st birthday girlfriend party, multiple neighborhood shebang to go to, so it got a little crazy too far. So I'm here and I'm alive and well, but thanks for holding the fort, guys.
and you're already 6 beers in, right?
2.5, but we're all good. Well, good to see you guys. Thank you for taking the reins there, Paul. I appreciate it. So yeah, you guys are talking about Vara. Yes, it is actual mode. Anything digital is accepted in Field Day this year. So
cool. I've been wanting to try it, and I know Paul mentioned it in the beginning. And Marvin, I know your work with Winter Field Day. I was only able to sneak out for like the last hour Winter Field Day, but I was like focused on. I wanted to do something new, so I did JS8 call for the first time during Winter Field Day at a local park, and maybe I'll. Depending on if I can make it out or not, I'll try to make some contacts and try Vara chat for the first time during Field Day weekend if I'm stuck at home or can't make it out.
Yeah, WinLink is obviously a accepted mode for sure. I know, especially if you're trying to capture the typical section manager ARL notice that kind of comes out, and you have not the notice. It's when you want to reach out to or get extra bonus points for your
section manager, isn't it?
Oh, sorry, what was that?
Isn't it sending a message to your section manager?
Yeah. WinLink is where you could do that through VAR HF and WinLink. So yeah, for like bonus points.
Yeah. So the Vara HF modem is not the same as Vara chat.
Okay.
Right.
Right.
And so you have to have the Vara HF modem to use Vara chat, but they're owned by different people and programmed by different people and
right. Yeah. All stuff I have not gotten in yet.
Right. No, we were just talking about the KM4ACK Field Day Challenge with WinLink that we were talking about just prior to you coming in, and that's kind of where some of that came in. We're talking about. So
So catch him up to speed. What is it? I haven't seen this video or any of the sound.
I haven't.
You got to go watch the video.
Yeah, watch the video. Exactly. I'm pushing everybody to go watch that because I haven't watched it myself. I just saw it come across on my Patreon channel with them, and I saw the highlights of the message, but I didn't really catch the full details yet. I haven't had time.
It doesn't look like he's got it out public yet, so.
Okay.
I didn't miss anything.
Spoiler alert.
I know, right?
Spoiler alert, you know.
Spill the Patreon bean. Go ahead. Reveal the curtain. Tell us what the wizard does.
Right.
All right. Well, we'll have to wait for that public one then, and then I can answer your question. But yeah.
Yeah. No.
So cool. All right. Well, where kind of catch me up where we are with field day. I mean, in essence, are you any of you guys going? Or I know Paul's plans obviously because him and I are kind of teaming up. But what are you guys doing or planning?
Yeah, say it again because he showed up late.
Yeah. Just fast forward. Hey, whatever.
The short version, I'm with Hamden County Radio Association. We'll be in Western Mass operating field day with them. I'll have my trailer down there trying to operate it, kind of a couple stations set up. I want to do a WinLink contact this year via field day. And then we'll just see how everything goes. And I'll get to spend more time as an operator and not have to lead field day like I have in the years past. So that'll be cool. Yeah. So that was my shortened Cliff Note version of what I gave a few minutes ago. But it's like I said to them, it's my absolute favorite day of the year. It's probably my first biggest event in 13 colonies, and it's just like Christmas to me to go out and play radio. So
next to Winterfield Day, really?
Yeah, wow. Next to Winterfield Day. I mean, summer field day, Winterfield Day. Absolutely, being the president, I've got to own Winterfield Day, but it's just one of those things that. It's field day. I don't care. It's just getting out and playing either way. So,
cool. Yeah, it makes sense. Okay, Mike, I think you said you were up in the air with your plans, right? Nope. We lose Mike. He freeze.
Mike froze on us.
All right. I'm back. I don't know. I've had conflicts like where I've usually just like swung by real quick to say hi, but between like weddings, graduation parties, or some other things, given the June timing, like I've had conflicts. I've only been a ham for 3 years, so it's like I've usually just swung by, but right now it looks like it might be open, but like I don't know, like something could come up with soccer for one of the kids or something last minute, so I don't know. Kind of wait and see, but I at least want to swing by and say hi if I'm free and stuff, and and whatnot, and kind of see the setup and how everything's going on. Because I've never really got to experience like field day. Like a lot of, I hear everyone talk about it. I'm used to, POTA, you say like, okay, field days every day with POTA. I do POTA, I do some SOTA. I go out to the parks, I operate portable. But I hear a lot more about like the experience of field day, everything from the food to just the camaraderie and getting everyone together. And, I'm used to, flying solo and just being out, and being the, best dressed ham in the wildlife area. And, and that's it, but, so I definitely gonna try to get out and check things out if the schedule remains clear. It's just, it remains to be seen, but yeah.
It's just weird flux, right? That's just kind of where it goes.
Yep.
So, exactly. All right, cool. So yeah, okay, cool. So 3 years. So how many field days have you actually done in the 3 years? Any at all, or no?
No, I swung by 1 year, and that was actually, it worked out really well for the club because I brought my son with me who was a tech, and they actually got a reporter out from like one of the local town papers, did a nice story. Spent a lot of time talking with my son. He was prepping for his general. I think he got his general in July the next month. But he was on the GOTA station working HF, and he'd been out and seen me do POTA and stuff. And so even though he was 11 years old, at the time, it definitely, it definitely attracted the reporter's attention, and the story focused a lot on him. And that's, I guess, one of the scoring things with field day. Like if you get like some publicity for it, then that's points for your club and stuff. So, so yeah, I'll throw a link in the in the chat. I don't know if my comments go across to everyone else's or not, but
They should.
but I at least
yes.
throw a link in there and you can check it out.
So, yeah, interesting you say that because I'm going to ask you, Paul. Obviously, I know kind of your backstory, but good to share on that one. In terms of your field day experiences, I think with me, I've been doing field day probably since I've had my ticket when I was back in 91, 92. But I mean, there was a huge gap in between that. So you don't think I've been doing field day for the past 30 years. I'm not that old, contrary to belief. But my field days are exactly how you described it, Mike. Like I would show up as a teenager and they would be like, you spend all weekend there and you're setting up either Friday or Saturday and you're sleeping over. And maybe if you're sleeping over, I remember teenage years, I'd be like operating all night because, that was the only time I could drink Jolt and sit there and pound,
Jolt.
contacts left and right. That was my life. I mean, I got my mom to buy me a 24, 12 pack of Jolt. And that's all I spent, eating crappy food and snacks and making contacts. And they loved it because the club I was with was, a lot of older guys. So, they were already tired by, 8 o'clock. And at that point it was just like, I had the radio to myself and, having fun. And so when I kind of got back into it after COVID, I took the reins over from our club, as coordinator, which if anybody's ever coordinated a field day, it's a lot of work, but it's very rewarding for sure. And it's thankless, but at the same time, you don't do it for the, the pats on the back either, because you just love, doing field day. Our club does a phenomenal job, I think, because we've got folks like Paul, that make my job wicked easy because I love station captains. Yeah, whatever, please. Dude, if you could ever see Paul set up and, he'll go into a little detail. This guy is like super efficient when it comes to like having everything there, backups to the backups. And he's not like the old timers where they pack cars full of stuff and hope that they brought the right cable. Paul's got it all down. I mean, and I've got 3 other guys that are a lot like that too, that run their station. So they make my job wicked easy as a kind of a coordinator. So I get to do exactly like Marvin says, operate. And I can operate a little bit here, a little bit there. I can operate 4 hours. I can do whatever. And we spend the whole weekend there. And so, I think that's the key to a good field day is like just staying there and telling your family, I'll see you on Sunday.
Yep, exactly. Oh, absolutely, for sure.
Yeah.
So all right, Paul, go ahead.
If it's crappy weather, it'll be early on Sunday. If it's good weather, I'm running till 2.
Yep.
Hey, before we get started with Paul, Eric, I was telling them before you came in, I've got halibut and swordfish with asparagus on the grill. So family and company upstairs. I'm going to kick out a little early here, guys.
Okay. Cool.
But
yeah, no problem. Good to see you, man.
Get in here a little bit, and we're going to go ahead and finish the evening with them real quick. And I think my fish is getting cold. So anyway,
enjoy that good meal, Marvin.
Thanks for holding the fort while I was gone.
All right, guys. Enjoy.
All right, we'll catch you later.
See ya.
Cool. So yeah, Paul, go ahead. Tell us a little bit of your experience. I mean, be honest, you don't have to like sugarcoat it because I'm here and the coordinator.
Well, for the record, I've thanked you every year.
I know you have. You have, and I appreciate it.
But so I was thinking about it, and this is actually this will be my 3rd year as a station captain, not 4th, because the first year I didn't do anything. Mm-hmm. I just showed up and kind of took it in, and I walked around and socialized and said hi to people. I don't even think I got up behind a radio at all.
Operated.
No. But then the next year I jumped in feet first, and and as a Marine, because once a Marine, always a Marine. I like to try and be prepared for any possible situation. And so, I may not bring all of the assortment of cables, but I'll have everything needed to make whatever cable you need.
Yeah. That's for sure.
Because I don't know, to me, it seems to make more sense to have the materials to make whatever you need to make on the fly than to have, 100 of everything.
Good point. Yeah. 100%.
But I'll definitely, I'll bring the extra solar panel, so that way anybody who wants to use it can use it. I've got a couple extra batteries I can bring.
And a special, extra 7,300 or something. Have you released that cat out of the bag yet?
All right. Yeah. So I guess
you
if
gotta let the world know what's happened. There's a lot that kind of transpired and some very good stuff here. So, I'm going to put you on the spot. You got to let us know what is going to be at our field day this year.
all right. So this year's field day radio is Shane's radio that had too short a coax and took a tumble. So it's perfect for field day because it's already seen some abuse.
Mm-hmm. It knows.
It can handle tested.
Yeah. Oh, exactly.
Yeah. It's been drop tested. No problem.
Yeah.
So one of the things it functioning wise, everything's fine with the radio. It's just some damage on the case. I upgraded the firmware. I basically just took everything from my 7300 on my desk and I copied the settings and everything into the SD card and threw it into Shane's. And so now they're identical and everything's perfect. But yeah, I took the rails off of mine. So now it's got nice portable zero rails on it.
Yeah. What Shane should have bought at the very beginning, but yeah.
Yep. And because I don't use the hand mic for my radio, his hand mic was kind of messed up. So no big deal. I just grabbed the hand mic and threw it in the bag. And yeah, I mean, I've got extras of all the cables and everything. So there's no need to pull the radio off the desk now.
or off of a table. But cool. Yeah,
I will say when we live stream for field day, we have to kind of do a highlight of the radio because I stickered it up.
Oh, sweet.
Right?
Okay.
Oh, cool.
That was the only thing we forgot to have Shane do was autograph it. That would have been perfect.
I was just going to ask if he signed the inside of the cover.
Yeah, and I mentioned it to him, and I don't think it's worth shipping it back and shipping it again.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, maybe we can get a replacement cover case, and you can just autograph and you ship him that. That'd be kind of like
there we go. But yeah, so he happened to have one of this side of the radio stickers on the Pelican case.
Cool. Okay.
So there's a special spot on the radio where that sticker now lives.
Ah, nice. Very cool.
Because it was all too fitting. So yeah, so we'll do a showcase of it.
Cool. Yeah, and Paul obviously alluded that from a Live Free and Ham perspective, we'll be doing a live stream. I'll probably be doing some, maybe a live stream from my channel. Actually, I might do a live stream because for our audience here, most of our club members are probably not going to be watching. We have a great NCO team that likes to do cool things, and they do like a special guest NCO. And so our lovely NCO coordinator convinced me if he was able to find a food coordinator person this year for our club's field day, that I told him I would be his guest NCO for Friday night. So I'll be doing that for my channel, and then we'll obviously doing live stream. Yeah, so now fun. Now Paul, and anybody else who's in our club is going to know. But
cat's out of the bag now.
Yeah, so I'll be doing that for our local nets that we have nightly, and then we'll live stream from Livery and Ham. So if you want to come in and join the fun and shenanigans, we'll be having some fun there. Paul and I like to really do field day up. Like Friday night, him and I usually are the only two guys that stay overnight. We're the ones that are there pretty much kind of watching over setup and stuff like that. But we love the whole idea of just making a big deal about it. So we'll get steaks and we'll make it up good. We'll have bourbon, we'll hang out, and we'll just play radio and just have some fun. And it's just usually kind of us and maybe one or two other people. And that's I think the fun part of it before even we get into field day, where all of that activity goes on, and that's just a kind of cool time to be able to just hang out and enjoy each other's company with a good beer there and enjoy playing some radio
and good scotch. You gotta have good scotch
too. Yes, totally. Yeah, you're gonna have to bring the scotch. I'm not the scotch guy, but yeah, I'll sample the best wares with you too as well.
You got to do the Anchorman reference when you have it though. Yeah. Scotch, Scotch, Scotch. I love Scotch. Get in my belly.
Yes, totally. Oh man. So yeah, interesting kind of scenario. Our club is kind of unique in the nature, and probably one of the things I like to do a lot is just, um share ham radio with a lot of the public. I remember one year, kind of a quick story. We started doing when ARL was pushing their education side of thing to like get more out in the public and invite clubs to do that by giving them bonus points. We had one year where we had not a couple. We actually had a family of 11 all show up at our club to basically work the Go to station, learn about ham radio and whatever. And we had a fox hunt kind of go on, and it was hilarious to watch because the way our field day is situated is that where we're sitting, we're higher than where the Fox transmitter is. And what would happen is that this whole family looked like a group of lemmings, and they're all like 11 of them all moving in this small little pack, following this transmitter around with an antenna, trying to find the fox that, was planted, in one of the 20 acres or whatever. And it was just funny to watch all the small little group moving around, but they all came back totally like on fire. And, we're like, oh, this is awesome. We love fox hunting. How much more can we do with this? And it was just like one of those things that, just was good to see and fun to, as a memory. But we're hoping that kind of carries over into, this year's, event if, we have no rain on the radar, which, knock on wood, we won't. But yeah, exactly right. So. Oh, cool. Well, I don't know. Well, so I got to dig up my questions here. But anyway,
Goda.
so yeah, yes, Goda. That was the one thing. So
Yeah.
what, Mike, did your son do Goda when you guys went to that one time or no?
He got on the Go to station for a bit, and I mean, they didn't want to let him go because again, I'm not familiar with the scoring, but I think like you get one of the Utes on like the radio, and it's like extra points or whatever. So they were loving it and whatnot. But yeah, he hopped on there. If let me see if I can throw that.
Do you remember his farthest contact?
I do not, because it was a couple years ago. It was like 2 years ago, 3 years ago. But yeah, I'll put the link in the private chat too, and then I shared it in like the comments in the chat on the side. But
cool.
But yeah, no, he had fun, and they do a good job with it. It's and I was saying earlier before you got in, so we got my club, the Rochester Amateur Radio Association. We got over 500 members. We're one of the larger clubs in the U.S.
Oh,
but there's a lot of other clubs in the Rochester region too, and one of them is the Xerox Amateur Radio Club, because Xerox, based, born in Rochester.
Right.
They have their own club of former employees, retirees. They're the ones that actually do field day. Now, there's a lot of crossover, so there's a lot of members of Rah that are members of the Xerox Club and vice versa and everything else. But they do a fantastic job with it. They've been doing it at the same park, local park. Doesn't qualify for POTA, but they do a fantastic job. And so I know I'll be trying to swing by at some point.
Very cool.
When
Are you
time
gonna
permits,
do
if I
any?
can. Yeah.
You gonna do any videos on it, or are you just kind of gonna go and enjoy?
It's funny you say that. That's one of the things I haven't done a lot with is club activities, like capturing those and putting that stuff on YouTube. I honestly, like, most club people probably don't even know that I'm doing YouTube or whatever for all that I know. But that's one of the things, like, I have been like a little reluctant to, like, I don't know, maybe it's just me and being still relatively new at the whole ham tube thing, but we'll see. Like, I always got my phone with me and stuff, and we'll see.
We did and I got a couple of videos up on my channel, I think, and I put one even up on our club YouTube channel as we did our first. It was kind of one of those things. I was like, I was that weekend. This is actually last year, I think it was. I was like, I'm gonna, it's live stream as much as I can. And so Paul and I, well, obviously that Friday night, and Friday night we had our net, and I live stream our net, and that was like a blast for a lot of people, because they were like, I'm on YouTube, you can hear me. And they were like,
Yeah.
for 30 minutes, they're like listening to people, and people on the live stream are listening to people talk about, how they, went to the dump that morning, and, the typical kind of, 2-round type things you have on the nets. And it was a blast because people are just like, I'm on YouTube. How do you find, it's kind of funny just to see people like, I don't know how to find you. I'm like, just look for my call sign, simple and easy. But that kind of, inspired me to kind of do a little bit more. And I'm sure like you probably feel the same way with me. It's like you want to be cautious of folks and making sure that they don't feel like out of place and a little weird. But they all know we're crazy anyway. And Paul and I, we love hanging out and just making weird contacts and just just enjoying it and having fun. So it's always cool.
No chicken story is too strange.
True that. Although we take I try to get a lot of folks to do this, and if you don't do this in your club, I would strongly suggest trying it. Is that get a couple people that are really good being behind a camera, whether it's video or regular photography, and just snap like real kind of like action photos and just kind of photos of the event throughout the entire weekend, and put together a simple slideshow for the club. You'll find that it inspires a lot of people, and they're it definitely uses it as a great tool for the future when you want to promote the next year's field day. You can say, hey, this is all the great fun we had, and it's a really cool way to kind of just build interest. So always a good thing if you haven't done that yourself. Maybe you're the person that should be taking photos.
Yeah, no, it's good to know. That's a good idea.
But all right. So I guess from a standpoint of, activities and stuff, I mean, Mike, you're obviously still up in the fence, and that's totally fine. I get it. And I've definitely been there and know how crazy it can be to juggle family and field day. And hopefully we'll, do you know what your club call is for field day for that weekend?
No, I don't, because it's the Xerox club, and I can never remember what their call sign is. So,
right. And do you know how big they usually operate? Like a 5-6 station? Are they smaller, or?
They're probably on the bigger side, I would guess.
Okay.
So I mean,
so
that is like the field day operation and setup, like in the area, and they like a lot of the other clubs, the offshoots and affiliates, all collaborate with them. So I just don't know what their call is off the top of my head.
Okay. Yeah, no
99
problem.
Alpha.
Yeah.
Well, we our club is the Granite State Amateur Radio Club. If you're interested, or you're working us, and you're in the chat, and you've ever heard or heard the call N1 Queen Charlie. We'll be in full force this year, 4 Alpha this time. We usually run a 5, but we wanted to get more people operating, so we figured let's downsize a little bit, and then that way we'll get more people behind more radios than having more radios and less people. So that'll be a good hopefully we'll make contact with folks. I'm definitely interested in doing that. And if you haven't heard the Queen Charlie call all the time, you'll hear it all weekend. I'm hopefully sure. There's always Queen Charlie, Queen Charlie. How many times do you have to tell you Queen Charlie? And over and over again, because for some reason, Queen is the hardest word for people to hear outside of kilo.
Gotcha.
Quebec.
So, yeah, Quebec. That's the other one. How many times?
Quebec.
But any so obviously I haven't been paying attention to the chat, but if folks are actually going to be looking to attend field day, definitely put your let us know your club call, whatever. We'd love to make sure we make contact with you guys. We'll put together a list and see if we can work you. From a standpoint, if you have never been to field day, and you're looking to go to a field day, I'd say go up to ARL's club locator. They've got a great resource up there, and you'll probably be able to find a good club that you can, plug into, or at least go visit and check it out. Like Paul said earlier. Gene's working QRP. Nice. Okay. Well, that one's going to be a tough one for field day. That's like going, doing QRP on, QPX weekend. That's going to be a tough one.
QRP on field day is 100% something I will never do again.
I know you did do that one year. I remember that story. You go ahead, share that just so you can give him a little bit of advice.
All right. So And this truly was no fault of anybody else at the field day site, but it was poor planning on our part to begin with, because all of our antennas were way too close to each other. Our stations were way too close to each other, and so I'm running 10 watts, and I'm trying to do single sideband, and CW's washing over me, and digital's washing over me, and there's so much interference from all the other bands, and the people around us. And yeah, I got frustrated, and I said, you know what, Mike, anybody wants to use my radio, use my radio. I'm done.
Yeah, I appreciate you taking up that mantle that year. That was a tough one. I know that was one of, I think, our life lessons that we learned with field day, and we're hopefully going to get smarter this year, I guess. Hopefully, I think we got a better plan in place. A lot of bandpass filters, triplexer, less antennas or shared antennas. So I think we'll be in hopefully better shape. Knock on wood.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was really happy.
Sorry, go ahead, Paul.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, well, quick segue on the QRP. I will plug, if you want to get out and do QRP, Monday, September 17th is International QRP Day. So that's the day to get out there and run low power.
Yeah. Yep.
Definitely. I'll be out there doing
it. Got a couple of months to prepare for that one.
That's for sure. So you go ahead, Paul. You were saying something.
But yeah, no. So I was just going to say that I was really, really happy that Ryan agreed to share an antenna. I had said from the start, like, I don't care what the antenna is. That doesn't bother me at all. But to be less interfering with one another, like, let's just try and share an antenna with the triplexer and the bandpass filters, and just have one less problem on field day.
Yeah, I'm with you 100%. I think that was always the frustration, especially when our digital station was even operating at 100 watts, blowing everybody out, no matter where you were in the bands. It was always a challenge. And I think this year we're running. Yeah, this year we're going to run triplexer. Everybody's got bandpass filters. We're running my hex beam hopefully this year, and we'll be able to get some good use out of that, and things will be hopefully much better, I think, at least from operating standpoint. So knock on wood, and in our planning, hopefully it'll execute well.
Exactly. So Mike, is it June or is it September?
June. Did I say September?
You put June in the chat. Yeah, you said September.
June.
That's why I was like, you got a couple months for that.
Yeah, it's a good beer.
Oh, holy crap. It's like in 2 days? QRP's in 2 days. Wow. Okay.
Yep.
I'll have to crack out the FX4CR.
I found out about it last year, just like sporadically. And I was like, oh my gosh, these guys got their own day. Like, all right, cool. And so I'll do a POTA on Monday, QRP at some point. I don't know when yet. Everything's last minute with me. But yeah, I'm committed to it.
Except for the well-dressed, part of it, that you get down to a science. There's no problem there.
Yeah.
All right. Well, wow. No, Monday or Tuesday? Because no, sorry. Tomorrow's 16th. Yeah. Tomorrow's Father's Day, guys. I happy Father's Day. I totally forgot. But yeah. All right. We'll have to crack out the FX4CR and do a little, FT8.
Yep.
No, we'll do sideband.
Boring.
I'll do sideband, Paul. I haven't done sideband with that one yet. I gotta crack that puppy out and play around with it a little bit. Cool.
Now, I will say about that radio though, right? I've had a lot of time to think on it since I got to play with that radio, and I truly think that if that radio came down in price by say $150. It would be the perfect portable radio for doing parks and summits. It's a good radio. I just hate the price.
Yeah.
You can, I'm with you on the price. The price is not too steep in terms of the pocketbook here in comparison to all of the other things I own and that's out there. But it's definitely for what it's worth. If you can get one, you're gonna spend a little bit more because they're so hard to get, and that's why you're paying what you're paying. When and again, $350 is not terribly that bad, but it's in the grand scheme of things, that the 891 where 500, it's all a wash, right?
20 watts is definitely a good sweet spot for portable operations because obviously you're getting a smaller radio, whether it's like a FX4CR or a G90. But
Mm.
and the price is nice too, for either of those. But for most days, that's good. My G90 is my first radio. But when you get into like the big contesting day, so like a field day or something like that, that's when all of a sudden, the 20 watts hits you, and it's like, you can't break through a pileup, or you're trying to hold a frequency, and you just getting
Mm. Yep.
destroyed,
Yes,
like stomped on, splattered, everything, because others can't hear you, or you're so far down there they don't care.
Yep.
But ultimately, like I haven't got to use the radio. I know one club member who's got one. I've gotten to hold it. I haven't gotten to use it yet. But I'd love to give it a shot because I'm definitely intrigued. There's a trade off between having a sound card internal versus the tuner that the G90 has, and both of those are things that you can add on, but again, it's additional things you got to pack or bring out or purchase and stuff. But back to the 20 watts, in most circumstances, that's a pretty good sweet spot. That'll get it done, with a decent setup. So
yeah, I think the radio, the whole package itself, and just the fact that if you're a guy who normally uses resonant antennas, it's just like kind of a match made in heaven. It's I literally have a bag that's no bigger than, say, the size of maybe a doctor's bag in the early, when they made house calls, kind of that, that ordeal. And that's everything, including battery. And so that is pretty sweet. I mean, so, for me to, not capitalize on having something that portable is kind of a loss for me. But like you said, Mike, 20 watts is tough when you get into, very loud bands and very active bands.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right. Well, we are nearing our top of the hour here, and I've got a little bit of a quick kind of surprise. I mean, I whipped something together. Obviously, we all know that tomorrow's Father's Day. And so, no, we're not doing giveaways, sorry guys, not that my pockets aren't that deep, but, just as a kind of a quick way I wanted to do. Yeah. Hey, well, dude, please, whatever. You've got plenty of, outlets there for all your gear. So, I'm going to run a quick little, tribute to you guys, just, to say, happy Father's Day, just in case you haven't, realized that it's Father's Day.
Yeah,
so
we mentioned in the beginning.
Very cool. Well, then we'll kick this little thing off here, and we'll wrap things up after that. So let me go do this little ditty I put together. Well, there we go, guys. At last minute, happy Father's Day to all you guys. Definitely all those guys and gals that are obviously on the chat too as well. Get out and say hello to your dads, and if you got ham radio in the family, go out and play a little radio with them too as well. I know probably when I go visit my dad on Monday, I'll be doing some of that a little bit with him. So outside of that, hopefully you guys are get a chance to get out, chat, and guys here as well, get out and play in field day and enjoy it, because it's one thing that happens once a year, and it's kind of like our as I said in the past, our our opportunity to do Burning Man without all the sex, drug, and rock and roll. And it's a good place to make new friends and meet new people and play in the hobby. So with that, let's kind of go around the horn here real quick and just let folks know where they can reach out to you guys in your channels and what might be going on, and we'll wrap it up. How about you? We'll start with you, Paul. Nope.
Oh, well, let's see. So, what? Is it not working?
No, you're good. You're all set. You're good. You just paused there for a second.
Okay. I've been having internet issues. I don't know what's going on, but what was the question again?
Channel. Tell us what you do and what's going on. Your channel, what's going on. How they can reach out to you. Yes, there you go.
Yeah. Okay. So not ham radio related, but I will be doing another recording of the Weekend Warriors podcast, which
sweet.
is a side venture that I'm doing with the Flag and Torch. So we're going to be discussing things that we talked about, while we were like cleaning rifles outside the armory and things like that.
Very cool.
Nice. But
that'll
Is that on kick your channel, off. Yeah, so that's my channel. It's YouTube at November 1 Oscar Grouch.
Sweet. Okay. Well, definitely go check that out. I saw the first episode. That was a blast to see. So go over and show Paul some love if you haven't already subscribed to him for sure, and help him out there. Well, you're almost up to about 100 right now at this point. I think you were like at 80 something last time I checked.
Yeah, I'm just over 80.
Sweet. Okay. Well, cool. Go check him out for sure. How about you, Mike? How can they reach out to you? What's been going on your channel? What's the latest stuff?
So Mike, N2MAK on YouTube, at Kenner Connect on Twitter or X. Good luck spelling that. Amateur extras only. Yeah, no, it's I got my last name for a handle. I'm not giving it up, and I didn't know how long this YouTube thing was going to last or whatever. So
still hanging on to the X part,
huh? on Twitter, and it's mostly ham radio stuff there. So I mentioned it earlier. I just finished editing, uploading my video from the VHF contest last weekend. So if you want to see what it's going to be like to do a POTA on 23 and 33 centimeters, stay tuned. It'll be there Tuesday. So
cool.
just wait for the time. As you know, the Tuesday night lineup. So, yep.
Awesome. Good. Cool.
Yep. So that's uploaded, and I like to go mix the VHF contest with POTA and SOTA. It's a fun way to try different things when there's either that activity or you got the elevation to help you out. And right. And it was fun, and I couldn't turn it down when I had a fellow ham reach out to me the day before. He's like, "Hey, I got 2 Olinkos that'll do 23 and 33 sems and a Yagi. You want to?" I was like, "Yes, why not?
Nice.
Let's give it a shot." So it was fun trying new things and stuff. So anywho, that'll drop Tuesday, and I'll be out Monday for International QRP Day, probably like for a very early shift before work and then something after work.
Okay.
But I'll be out at least once on Monday, QRP, and this should be fun. So that's what's coming down the pike.
Well, I'll have to hit you on the ham alerts there and make sure we keep an eye out for you. And definitely excited about seeing the Tuesday night drop. If you haven't done the Tuesday night drop, that's the Tuesday night ham radio playlist that happens right before the ham radio clubhouse. Mike and I are on it, and we always you can go to either one of our channels to pick out the latest list there. I've got my channel, N1JUR Amateur Radio. You can always check out any of the latest videos. I dropped another video on iOS apps again for ham radio. So if you are interested in finding what the latest iOS apps are, I review them so you don't have to download them and clutter your iOS screen with them. So check that out. And I'm actually going to be putting together a special Father's Day video, which will be released tomorrow. That's going to be sure to involve all the families, since it's Father's Day, and I've recruited a few family actors. So they're going to have to put their best faces on and follow through with the video. So make sure you check out my channel on that one. And as always, with that, like Paul and I mentioned, we will be live streaming with Live Free and Ham and on my channel when Field Day rolls around next weekend. Well, yeah, 7 days away, literally 7 days for Field Day. So, if you haven't started playing now, you're behind the gun. That's all I have to say. So cool. With that, guys, I thank you for hanging out with another happy hour here with Northeast Ham Radio crew. And with that, happy Father's Day to everybody out there in ham radio and YouTube land. And with that, we'll say 7-3.
Cheers. See you next weekend.